Guys, welcome again. Today I want to take some time and talk about exact match domains, okay, EMDs. EMDs are basically just that you use the exact keyword as your domain name or your Google My Business listing name. So, example, if your main keyword is, let's say, dentist Chicago, you put up an exact match domain basically means you put up a website, dentistchicago.com, and your Google My Business listing is also pretty much the same thing, dentist Chicago. Once upon a time, 4, 5, 6, actually maybe 7 years ago or so, exact match domains used to work like crazy, rank like easily in Google because there was not too much competition there. You could just throw up a domain, the exact match domain, and it'll most likely instantly come up to the top three in the map pack, right? SEO was a lot easier. People could just put match domain as anchor text and things like that. But over time, SEO has become so much more harder. Ranking a website has become so much more harder. Google has changed its algorithm. And more than that, there's a lot of competition now, right? And so it's not easy to go for EMDs. As a matter of fact, the common saying out there in the SEO world is try to avoid EMDs because Google can slap them anytime, right? It's a known fact. If it's an EMD, most likely you're a lead gen site or a spam site or a rank and rent site. You're not a real brand, and that's against Google's terms of service because Google wants real brands, a real company to be ranking when somebody's searching for a dentist, Chicago, or locksmith, Nevada or whatever, right? Um, so over time, EMDs have lost their glamour, but EMDs still rank, okay? And I just did a search for do exact match domains still work, and you get a bunch of articles over here. There's actually an article by Forbes magazine which talks about exact match domains and why investors still value them. Um, this was, I mean, this may or may not hold true now. I've heard of stories of dentists and lawyers buying up domains, paying even as much as 20,000, 30,000 just for the domain, not even for a ranked site, right? Because once upon a time, the domain name, if it was an EMD, carried weight, and it was thought to be easier to rank. But it may not be now, so okay. Um, but like I said, there are so many articles out there written by apparently experts who still talk about Google's love affair with EMDs. So what I have basically done is I went on and I started to look for um, search for keywords, search terms, and see, hey, is it true if EMDs are ranking? I knew EMDs were ranking. I use for some of my rank and rent sites, I do use EMDs, exact match domains, but for the majority of them, I use partial match domains, right? Partial match domains may have an extra word or two, may not have the full keyword, right? That's just to be on the safe side long term. But I started doing some research and then I started doing some testing, and what I actually found kind of I wouldn't say blew me away. Some of it I knew, but it was pretty surprising because EMDs were still ranking. You can still rank an EMD if you do your research properly. And in this course, I'll show you how I do that and rank even for water damage restoration keywords, pretty competitive niches, almost overnight. Okay, but again, take this. I mean, don't take this for a long-term strategy because, and for all we know, next year, 6 months from now, Google can update an algorithm and may just take away EMDs, right? You want to see if you can go towards brand long-term. But this is a great strategy to be able to generate phone calls, send those phone calls to clients, and get paid pretty much overnight, right? I've tested and I'll show you some websites where I put up an exact match domain in certain cities and certain niches, and we started getting calls. I actually tested it out with a couple of my students who put out exact match domains, and one guy got 5 phone calls the next day after the GMB was verified. Okay, so I'll go in detail about that. But just as an example, if you see, it doesn't matter what keyword, how much the competition is, what's the population of the city, we are able to find exact match domains ranking pretty much. Like here, if you see tree service Wichita, 210 searches a month, and there we see Wichita tree service with an extra word ranking. And the website itself, if I hover over here, is wichita-treeservice.com. Let me put it a little bit here. Okay, if I hover over here, you can see it on the left corner bottom, which is that dash tree service. So it's an EMD, it's ranking. Now, obviously, he did not just put this site and the GMB and it ranked overnight. He did some work, power. But the idea is Google is treating this as a brand, Wichita Tree Service, and he was also smart enough to name his company Wichita Tree Service LLC, and that's where I got the idea also from. Okay, Wichita Tree Service LLC. Look at that, Wichita Tree Service Pros for 210 such as a month. It's ranking. There are actually three different EMDs, if you see here, ranking in the map pack, which was not common at least 6 months to a year ago when I was when I, you know, when I looked into it. Okay, like I said, the population is almost 400,000 for Wichita Tree Service. Another keyword, bail bonds Detroit. Again, I'm not signed in. Okay, bail bonds Detroit, 800 searches a month. Detroit bail bonds. Okay, is ranking number one in the maps. Bail bonds Detroit, ranking number three. The website URL is a EMD, DetroitBailBonds.com. This website is DetroitBailBondsCompany.com. So these are all EMDs, exact match domains, or exact match domain with another extra keyword. Look at that. Detroit Bail Bonds is, they pretty much influence Google to treat it like a brand. So Google pretty much thinks it's a brand and is ranking this, okay? And the population of Detroit is almost 700,000. So these are huge, like 800 searches a month. Great key volume. Great call volume, sorry. Another example, Handyman Troy, 10 searches a month, smaller city. What do you see here? Troy Handyman, okay? Handyman Troy, look at that. It's This guy doesn't even have a website. This guy also doesn't have a website. They're ranking 10 calls a month. Hey, I'll take it anytime, right? You can go ahead and put up a GMB if you do the research right with the exact match domain and pretty much instantly be able to rank. These guys have no reviews, no website, no directions. I have no idea what they even did. They just put up a Google My Business listing with the EMD is ranking. Population of Troy, 83,000, so a smaller suburb. Grand Rapids divorce attorneys, okay, 200 searches a month. Look at that, Grand Rapids divorce attorneys, EMD, with an extra couple of words for men, okay? And look at the website URL, Grand Rapids divorce attorneys for men, okay? So it's got the keyword Grand Rapids divorce attorneys, right? So the whole point I'm trying to get is, and then the population is 200,000 over here. And I could keep going on and on and on. Hoboken handyman. It's got Hoboken handyman with the word in the middle. So it treats it like a brand name with an exact match domain with another word in the middle. Now, I'm not saying these guys went and ranked overnight, but over time, as they did some SEO, backlinking, build trust and build power, they were able to rank. Okay, and what I've done is, as I go into the course a little bit, you will understand is I've taken this and I've seen, okay, if these EMDs are ranking in big cities, will they rank faster for smaller cities? Okay, Hoboken is 55,000 population. I'll show you one last example, and this will blow your mind. Locksmith, Chicago, 6,000 searches a month. Now, that's a huge call volume. Maybe it could be beefed up just because locksmiths do a lot of SEO and they themselves are searching, and so the number has gone up. But let's say it's even just 1,000 searches a month. That's a huge call volume. Chicago is a huge, huge city. Look at this. Okay, this guy for the keyword locksmith Chicago, the number one and number three, Chicago locksmiths, Chicago locksmiths. Two different GMB listings, same brand name. And if you really see, the website is chicagolocksmiths.net, chicagolocksmiths.net. Okay, huge city. You would think that Google will, find something like this and slap them, especially in a niche like locksmith, where Google is, pretty much it's so hard to rank. I mean, get GMB verified, and here he is doing it. What's the population? Almost 3 million, 2.7 million. Okay. So the point I'm trying to make here is EMDs work if you know how to work them. These guys here, I've also opened up these websites and done my research. Like this guy, if you see, he's done quite a bit of SEO. He's done quite a bit of, interlinking and things like that. If you see here, right here, um, just from the home page, you can see, okay, he's interlinked, outbound authority links to ANSI and ISA. He's linked to inner pages, and then from inner pages, he's linked to, different things. This is SEO work. He's linked to a State Creek wind farm near Wichita, which is probably bringing some relevance. So he has done work to rank the site, obviously. He just did not rank overnight by putting an EMD. But the point is, if he's ranking in Wichita with an EMD with some interlinking and some backlinks for a 400,000 population city, my thinking is if I go to a city like Hoboken or Troy, Michigan, which is 55,000 or 80,000, under 100,000 population, can we put up a GMB and can we rank? And we did some testing, and you'll be blown away by what we found. We were able to rank by just putting up listings and pretty much overnight. I'll show you an example of a couple of, maybe in the next video, a couple of websites we did. But literally, the whole idea is you do the research the right way, go for cities under 100,000, preferably 80,000, but they still have some call volume in some niches, and you'll be able to rank in the maps. So let's say, as an example, I am in Michigan, and Detroit Metro is the largest city, which is like 700,000. But I go to a city like Southfield, if I can spell that right, Southfield, Michigan. So if I can find a niche in a city, suburbs, around the major cities. So in my example, Southfield, it's got 90,000 population. I find a niche. Okay, it could be locksmith. Well, locksmith is a different, difficult one, but let's say tree service or painter or some niche where it's got some decent call volume. Towing is, you get calls like crazy, and you put up one, maybe two or three multiple Google My Business listings, they will rank overnight in the three pack. Okay, let's say you just put one map listing in the niche you looked into. It it ranked overnight. The call volume is low because it's an 80,000 or 90,000 population. You will still get about 1 to 2 calls a week. Now go ahead and go to the next suburb, Farmington Hills, which is another 90,000 population, and do the same thing. Royal Oak, do the same thing. Bloomfield Township, West Bloomfield, Redford, Livonia, all of these are like 100,000 and less, like 90,000, 80,000, some even 40,000. And you put GMBs, Google My Business listings, with the exact match domain, and you'll be ranking in the three pack for all of this. So even if you get just one call a week from each of these cities, and you put up 7 cities, suburbs, that's 7 calls a week. You send all the 7 calls to one business owner, he's going to pay you. You'll be able to rent this, rent all the 7 GMBs, all the calls for, let's say, $500 a month minimum. Easy. You could easily do 1,000, but let's just lowball it and say $500 a month. Is it worth it to you? What did you do? All you did was put up 6 or 7 Google My Business listings. You could pay somebody for $50 to $100. So for a one-time $500, you put up Google My Business listings. You did not put a website. You did not host it. You did not register a domain. You did not buy content. You did not put any backlinks, no citations, nothing. Just Google My Business listing. In some niches, even without a website, in some niches, you can use the free business.site, the Google site, the Google site that comes free. I'll show you what we do basically, but you can put those one-time $500 expense, and then you're going to get paid $500 a month, month after month. So that's the whole goal of this. Like, we're exploiting the EMD, the power of EMDs, and the love that Google has for exact match domains, and we are kind of blanketing a few half a dozen suburbs and driving all those calls to one business owner. Okay, hope it made some sense. In the next video, I'll dive a little deep into it and show some examples.